And this is why ChatGPT and AI should be used as a part of tech support. Look at this. This definitely could be the issue, and I totally didn't think of it. Artificial intelligence is awesome. We're going to use it a lot. It's going to help me. It's going to be great. I like AI. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Irvin, also known as Koboman. In today's video, we're going to test ChatGPT, an AI that we can possibly train to become a tool that would help us do tech support. But the thing is though, ChatGPT or AIs and such, they cannot replace humans. Here is the reason why. If you implement AI to do tech support and you are worried that it may replace people who do help desk or actual physical work of the tech support, that's not going to happen. Here's one example of that. If you implement ChatGPT to be the front end chatbot, have it set up for the users, people who need help with computers, they would ask the ChatGPT, I can't do this and that. ChatGPT can provide possible answers and even guidance, but people who don't know computers, they simply don't know computers. And I mean that in the nicest way because those computers or those computer those people that don't know computers will know way more about everything else that they do. Now in this video, I'm not going to share any personal information. There is no personal data being leaked. None of this stuff. These are just issues, example issues that came from real people, but none of their personal information is being shared. I have to say that as a disclaimer. So if you see people's names and stuff like that, it's either public information or it's fictional, okay? All right, let's get into it. We're going to pick a random ticket that's in my ticket. I have tons of tickets in here, so I'm going to pick this one here. It says here, a lock screen is irritating. I'm going to assign it to myself. Of course, always work on the oldest ticket in the system. I'm just doing this as part of education or as part of teaching. It says, hi tech desk. The lock screen on Windows is really irritating me as I have hard time typing in the password every time I turn on my computer. Can you disable it completely? Thank you very much. So I know you can actually disable lock screen, you can disable screensaver, and all of this can be managed within tech support, right? You can do this. These are the things you can do, but again, it requires a physical effort by the real person to do so. Now we're going to test ChatGPT. I'm going to tell it to behave like a tech support person, and I'm going to try to train it in such way where it gives me the answers or tries to give me the correct answers. And we're going to compare my own knowledge to that. Here is one thing that's great about ChatGPT. I can just copy paste this whole thing and give it this information. Regardless whether this has spelling errors, whether this has grammar errors, whether it's completely broken English, which is perfectly fine because my English is sometimes broken, so there's nothing wrong with that. But it can also do other languages, and I've tested it in my own main language, which is Bosnian. I've tested it and it speaks Bosnian better than I can. So anyways, let's get into it. First, we're going to start off with trying to train it. Right now, we're logged in to ChatGPT, and I'm going to say, I need you to be a help desk tech support person. Please provide solutions to tickets. I'm going to say trouble. Where'd you go? Trouble. Come on. Trouble tickets. for some reason that when I was typing in trouble, it wasn't coming up. Solutions to trouble tickets that are provided. Sure. So we need to train it. The great thing about tools like AI tools like ChatGPT, you can train it to behave certain way, but you got to be very specific on how you want it to behave. In this case, I said, I need you to be a help desk tech support person. So I'm giving it a role. I'm giving it a role. So in this case, it's going to try to behave like that. And then I said, please provide solutions to the trouble tickets that are provided. I'm going to hit enter. And it says, of course, I'd be happy to help. Please provide me with the details of the trouble tickets. I'll do my best to, I'll do my, not breast, I'll do my best to provide you with appropriate solutions for each issue. Okay, so far so good. This is very impressive, right? This is really cool. So we're going to copy paste our ticket that we have. All right, here it is, same ticket, and I'm going to hit enter. Okay. All right. All right. So it's given us quite a bit of stuff, quite a bit of stuff, and we can train it to give more information or for it to be easier to understand. But let's see what's going on right now. And it's behaving like a help desk analyst, but is it really? It says, I understand the lock screen can sometimes be bothersome. While I can't directly access your computer to make changes, aha, gotcha. I can guide you through the steps to disable the lock screen in Windows. So here it is. It's saying press Windows R, open the run dialog, type in gpedit.msc, and press enter so you can get the group policy editor. And it tells you how to do this. And you can do this. Even on your own, you can learn from this. You can go in and change these settings, which are accurate, by the way. But these things will be overwritten by a group policy for your domain. So, or for your, for your computer, for your account that you use to log into your domain. So these are instructions for tech support, not necessarily for a person who is reporting the issue, because like I said before, they will not know how to do any of this stuff. And I mean no offense again, because those people are way better than we are at other things. And it keeps going. And then you can go to Windows Registry, do WinR, go to regedit, go to HKey local machine source policies, Microsoft Windows, and you can create all of these things, which is great, right? This seems accurate just from the looking at it right now. As somebody who's got lots of experience doing tech support, creating these D words, if it doesn't exist in within registry editor, this is fine. This is fine. This is okay, but I'm going to tell it, keep in mind that you are talking to a user who doesn't understand computers. Let's just leave it at that. Let's see what happens. Oh, so it keeps going. All right, all right, all right. I'm just gonna stop. I'm just gonna stop. Nope, I cut. Stop, 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 stop. I told it to regenerate. So it kept saying more of the same stuff. It said, oh, here we go. Where did it go? Where did it go? Here we go. I apologize for any confusion. Let me explain in simpler terms. Okay, Windows Pro. All right, so I'm going to say, okay, assume that person, assume that user does not have admin access to make changes. Computer is locked down. Now it's probably going to say contact your tech support after this, but let's see what happens. Aha, I knew it. I knew it. It says here, I understand if you don't have admin access and the computer is locked down by administrator, you won't be able to make changes. Okay, in this case, you should reach out to your IT support organization, technical team, and explain the issue to them. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, it does say here it's important to follow your organization's IT policies, and that basically you should not, like as a user and you're not IT, you should not be messing with changes, because you wouldn't believe how many times I've gone to a computer and somebody tried to make some changes and they knew how to do it in some cases, but they didn't have the proper access. So that's that. Anyways, it kind of failed in this situation. Admittedly, it's a tough one. Even somebody from help desk may not be able to do this because of access issue, and that's okay. We're just testing. It says here, I share the new calendar with all my math faculty. at this location and giving them all edit rights so they could have so they could add their exam week office hours to the calendar. When the first one did it, they worked fine. But since then, the other threes have attempted to add their hours, but they are not populating on their shared calendar. So they don't have access. For some reason, these other three people do not have access. The first three faculty did so. I apologize. So the first three have it. Since then, three others have attempted their hours, but they are not. So this appears to be a permissions issue. I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to see what ChatGPT thinks. I'm just going to paste it in there. Here we go. Okay, so now we are talking about some stuff that the user can do. So in this case, it said, it sounds like you're having issues with adding events to a shared calendar. Let's try to troubleshoot the problem. Here are a few steps you can take. So yeah, indeed, it is a shared calendar because we're talking multiple people, right? If the first three were able to do it and not the three other ones, to me, it's a most likely an access issue because we're talking about multiple people and it's not one off where it's just one person having the issue, and it could have been that they've had access at some point but suddenly they can't do it. But nonetheless, let's see what it says here. Check calendar permissions. Right, so that's the first thing I said. Double check the permissions you've granted to the math faculty for the shared calendar. Now it's impressive how it knew just from that it can tailor its answers and it's going to get better and better. Make sure that they still have the correct edit rights. Sometimes permissions might accidentally change. So it's the very first that I've mentioned, and that's the first thing that it suspects. So far, it's doing really good and really good at explaining this. And it says refresh your calendar. Sometimes calendar synchronization takes a little time. Ask the faculty members who are facing the issue to refresh their calendar or wait for a while to see if their events eventually appear. That's a good advice. Check event details. Ensure that faculty members are filling all the necessary information. So this is really good because it's trying to kind of guide the person on how to do it, on how to do it properly in order to minimize the errors. Because sometimes you would get this ticket and it says, I can't do this and that, and you always assume the first thing, which even the ChatGPT thought it's the access issue. But it also assumed that these other issues could be the factors, meaning that the user may not know how to add, items in that shared calendar. And there are other things, and then in the end it says contact IT support if none of these things work. So far, I could assume that if you created this ChatGPT and you had this type of issue and you presented it to the AI or ChatGPT in this case, it could possibly help resolve this issue without ever having to deal with actual person on tech support. Right? So that there is that. However, I want you all to keep in mind that, in my opinion, ChatGPT in this case, or AI in general, is a tool for not just users, but tool for us as tech support. I think I've mentioned this earlier too, and you can learn a lot from it. If you don't know how to fix something or even how to even check something, chances are you can type it in just like this. You copy paste the whole ticket to them. Now make sure you don't provide any personal information, like computer names, people names, login IDs. Don't share any of that stuff, okay? Make sure you don't do any of that stuff. And make sure that your bosses, your management, whoever's in charge of you that knows that you might be doing this. But man, it's a really good tool to help you tech support. If you're doing help desk, you can look at this, pop this in, and you can resolve issues quickly. Because you can't remember everything at once as well as ChatGPT can. There's no way. You can go through all of these things, just read them quickly. Hey, have you tried this? Have you tried that? Are you doing this? All right. And it's so far I am for ChatGPT using it as a tool, and in this case, maybe even for the user to deal with without even having to talk to help desk. But again, and I keep saying this, and I know I keep saying this, users may not even know any of this type of stuff, but and then you can just reference to it and you can say, okay, let's do this, let's do this, let's do that. Have you tried this? Have you tried that? Oh man, it's awesome. I think it's awesome. Let's do this one here. OneDrive issue. The user is reported they cannot open any documents on OneDrive. The user is working from Office. So this could be many things. I like that it says here the user is working from the office. That means they're hopefully directly connected to the network and there is no connection issue. Because it could be that. It's usually a connection issue assuming that they've had access to OneDrive ahead of time. It says here the user is reporting that he cannot open any documents on OneDrive. To me, first thing to mind that comes to mind is a connection issue. Second would be access issue, right? It could be access issue, but chances are probably not because they've had access to it. This is not a new person. It's a user. It doesn't say this new person is having issues. It doesn't say that. It just says the user is reporting that he cannot open any documents. Now these things could be deleted. They could have been deleted. This could be one of those things where did you accidentally delete it? But let's see what ChatGPT thinks here. Copy pasta, enter. Okay. All right, all right. All right, all right, all right. All right, all right. Okay. So it gave us quite a lot of stuff, which is great. And it says here, if a user is having trouble opening a document on OneDrive while working from Office, there could be several reasons, blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's go through some troubleshooting steps. Check network connection. See, I said that right away. Check network connection. Again, will user know how to do this? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Verify OneDrive sync. Now, this is definitely a good thing to check, and I didn't think of it. And this is why ChatGPT and AI should be used as a part of tech support. Look at this. This definitely could be the issue, and I totally didn't think of it. And it's definitely something. Even not just OneDrive, but I've seen it with Google Drive, with any type of drive that's set up like that. It says restart OneDrive. Look at all these troubleshooting steps. This is all good stuff. Users may not know how to do any of this stuff, or they would just be confused. But you, as tech support, could use this. This would be so awesome. Update OneDrive. You can do this. You can do this. This is not that hard at all. Try a different browser. So you can access OneDrive through a browser. This is, see, I know I'm making a video right here and I'm trying to move it along, but this is definitely something I would drive. This is definitely something that I could try. That I could try. So go into just office.com and selecting your OneDrive. That's what I'm trying to say. Clear browser cache, yes. If it's an online version, yes. Check file permissions. So if it says here, confirm the user has the appropriate permissions to access documents. Incorrect sharing settings or permissions might prevent them from opening files. Really good point, actually. So we can ask them if it was a shared drive. That means that in OneDrive, you can go in and right click it, or I don't know, I don't know off the top of my head, but you can go in, make it so that other people can view it, edit it, and you can share it with others directly from OneDrive. And this will pop up on your SharePoint, website, in your Teams. All of this stuff is great. I highly would use this to troubleshoot if I was doing if I was doing help desk, basically. It says test on different devices, check for local copies. This kind of goes into other stuff that, is kind of well over a lot of people's heads, including help desk. So I'm not saying you wouldn't know necessarily any of this stuff, but you wouldn't necessarily have time to do all of this type of stuff, right? But so far, great. It's great. All right, let's try another one. Just scrolling through, and here, let's do this. This is more common, something that the user would report. Outlook hangs when sending email to certain continents. This is a strange one. A user reports that when he sends email to certain continents, i.e. from US to Europe, oh wow, for real? Okay. From Europe, email freezes up. And when it does arrive at the destination, and when it does, when it does arrive at the destination, so you're sending it from US to Europe, email freezes up, and when it does arrive at the destination. So it freezes up even over there, I'm assuming. User reports the same thing. So let's say it's a Gmail. Let's say, for example, let's assume it's Gmail or Outlook. It doesn't matter. There are cloud-based servers that handle email now that are all over the world, and they're spread out on purpose over certain distances to reduce this type of stuff. So this type of stuff doesn't happen. So there is minimized delay, and then there is a faster connection. So for example, let's say you're hosting a website and it's called kobuman.com, right? If I have the website hosted in Central America, then people who are trying to access it from Europe, for them it's going to be a lot slower. And that's because of the distance. That's because of the distance. Obviously, it's a simple logical thing, and it really does happen. For it to not happen, I would need to have another server in Europe with a copy of my website of kobuman.com and have them synchronized as they're being updated. So let's say I'm updating a copy of kobuman.com in Central America. I need it to be synchronized and doing the same thing on the version of Kobuman that is located in Europe server at the same time, so this issue doesn't happen. Okay, so let's see what ChatGPT thinks. It might have a better solution. Yeah, okay. This is this is a really tough one, even for ChatGPT. It has a lots of suggestions, but man, I'm not sure if you'd have time to do all of this. It says, yes, the issues described sound unusual. I like how it tries to think like human, or it tries to respond like human. Email delays or freezing when sending messages from one continent to another can be caused by a variety of factors. Here are a few explanations. Network latency. So it's kind of the same thing I just talked about. The geographical distance between continents can introduce latency, which can lead to delays in email delivery. Sometimes these delays can make seem like emails have frozen. This is a common issue when emails need to traverse long distance across data centers. See, data centers, cloud-based, or nowadays they're called quote unquote cloud-based, but just different servers, different data centers, right? They're servers hosting the in this case the Exchange server, for example. And mail routing and servers. Emails often go through multiple servers and routes to reach their destination. See, this is exactly what I talked about. Delays may occur if there is a bottleneck or congestion. It's the same thing I was talking about. ISP or network issues. This something I would actually look into, because chances are of not having a multiple servers for email provider on different continents is less likely than this actually. I think this is actually more likely ISP or network issues, network speed issues. But it is here, let me see, it's possible that the network between US and Europe is experiencing intermittent problems. Right. So, yeah, no, that's a really good point. Man, I'm liking this. Again, I really don't think AI can replace us tech support people, but it can really enhance us. If I had this in front of me, man, I could really talk the talk. I mean, you saw how I explain things, and that's, I don't want to say that's the extent of my knowledge, but that is the first initial thoughts that I've said when I read the ticket the first time. Those are the first thoughts that came to my mind. And you saw how fast I was able to access that information and articulate that information. Was I able to pull up all this information that fast and to that much detail? No. Would I eventually be able to come to these conclusions? Yes, of course. So can you. But that does come with experience. Meaning, I'm not saying that, experience, oh my God, I have experience, I'm the man. No, no, no. It's just matter of learning things and keeping them memorized in your mind, in your brain. And that's exactly where this chat GPT and AI have the huge advantage because they're pulling information from that. They they are prevented, they are not prevented, they are presented with a problem and they provide answers based off what most likely the answer is to that problem. And it's really, really, really good at that. This is how they trained it to be so smart. This is how they trained it to be so smart. I'm impressed. I'm impressed. Definitely consider I would definitely consider using this in a business environment, but it would only be for some people, like tier 2, tier 3 maybe. And I don't mean no offense to tier 1 help desk or tech support at all, but the reason I say tier 2 or tier 3 is because tier 2 or tier 3 will more likely be more conscious of not sharing personal information with AI for your company that you work for. I would be super careful about that and make sure that that doesn't happen. Somebody who's help desk tier 1, for example, they are in the process of learning still, right? Not necessarily, right? You could be somebody who just, who's got like a couple of years of experience and you know a lot, but you just happen to be tier 1 still. Maybe you like that. Maybe you prefer to be tier 1. Or maybe there were no other opportunities that happened, which, yeah, I don't know what the situation might be. But just logically thinking, if you're help desk tier 1, chances are you're still learning new things and you will have a lot of questions. You will have a lot of questions and you will make mistakes. And you don't want those mistakes to be security related. You don't want to, have a security breach and that security breach be you, even if it's copying pasting information to AI to help you resolve issues. But maybe training people specifically to use AI as a tool as tech support is the key to have the best tech support people ever. Maybe that is the key. Use AI to train people to begin with. Say this is part of your job. You make sure you do not use any personal information or any security information that could, put the company in jeopardy of some sort because we don't know where this is connected. I mean, I could ping chat, I could do some research and do some trace routing and pingage and stuff like that to see where this server is for OpenAI. But we don't, where is it copied? Where is it stored? Where is it synchronized, right? We just talked about synchronization. Where is this going? We don't know. Now, there are solutions that are provided by these companies that have AI that would specifically train that AI on the knowledge bases that you have for your company, which is great too, because there's some specific stuff that's specific to your company. And this is something I've suggested in my current job as well. And I'm not 100% sure how this would be implemented within a business as of now, but I'm starting to have a good idea, actually. I'm starting to have a really good idea of how this could be done. We'll see. We'll see how this plays out for all of us. I think it's great. I really do. And I think we should use it and learn from it, and just embrace it. If somebody wants to do something malicious with AI, they would do it regardless. And there are too many AIs happening right now. We might as well embrace it and try to use it to our advantage, to the advantage of humanity, right? Why not? I hope you enjoyed this video. I apologize I didn't have a more, hands-on training video that I normally have, but I kind of wanted to talk about AI for a few months now, and this is one of those videos. If you want me to test it more If you want me to make part two, part three, or so on, and we can, I'm actually enjoying this. I can certainly do that. Let me know in the comments below. I appreciate you. Oh, we're almost at 100,000 subscribers. Almost at 100. I think I need a couple hundred more. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe 500 more. I don't know. But if you want to help it get to 100,000 to be one of those people, I'd appreciate it as well. It's not necessarily, I don't usually ask for subscriptions or anything like that. So it's fine either way. But I hope you have a good day. Take care. Bye bye.